Health IQ podcast. Is your water hiding something? Uncovering your tap secrets.
Welcome to this episode of Health IQ podcast. Today we have an unusual topic which will be important to anybody who drinks water. Our crew today is Joyce Runyon and Bobby Hockaday, and I am Brenda Bishop. Joining me at the table is our Climate and Health Project Coordinator, Billingsley, and he will be sharing some of the work he has been doing. Just to give you some background, the Health Council has been working with 6 other counties in the state to look at the challenges of safe drinking water for all. Some of our counties are in need of water systems. Others have many small water systems that are like private. And then many have the public water systems like most of ours are. Over the last 2 years, we've sort of been looking at issues around water and drinking water around the state. And as part of this grant, we had to create a disparity statement, and it got narrowed down to how communities notify people in case of a challenge with their water. Depends on the water, I guess, or what the challenge is. So Billy came on towards the end of this project. You've been with us since February, I think?
I believe so, yes.
And so it's been sort of the end of this project, but he just at the time when we needed to do all the writing. So he did a fantastic job pulling this whole project together. So I think we got to start with, what are the rules that water systems have?
Okay, thank you, Brenda. Well, there's federal regulations and state regulations. For the federal, it is the Safe Drinking Water Act, and this requires all the public water systems in the nation to annually sample and test the water and provide those results to their customers. And that report's called a Consumer Competence Report. And then we have the New Mexico Administrative Code, and that requires notification by water systems in the cases of emergency. And emergencies could include natural disasters, chemical spills, the treatment plant goes down, power outages, etc. So it's very important that these systems notify the customers, especially if there's a public health threat.
Right. So during our disparity statement, we were only really looking at 2 chemicals, but they have a long list of chemicals that they have to sort of monitor on a daily basis or weekly basis, or?
Well, the testing's annually. Unless they find an issue, then they need to test more frequently. But
okay. So before you started with us, we were actually introduced to some communities down in the southern part of the state that have public or private water systems. So that they had wells that were owned by a person who then maybe distributed that water through a system in their communities. And these people were experiencing some health issues that turned out to be related to their water and they weren't notified of those issues. Do public or private have to follow the same rules as public?
They do not. The federal regulations is just for public water systems.
So that's a little loophole that you need to be thinking about. Where does your water come from? So can you tell us about the contaminants that we were looking at?
There were 2 where we're looking at arsenic, which is found in rocks in the soil, as well as uranium, which is found in pockets in bedrock.
And what kinds of health issues do they cause?
Right. For arsenic, that is a carcinogenic, and it can cause skin cancer, bladder cancer, lung cancer, as well as heart failure, heart attacks, and even infant death. And then for uranium, there's a possibility of birth defects, fetal death, kidney damage, bone cancer, and even high blood pressure.
So let's go ahead and look at Coy County a little bit. And how many water systems did you identify?
Well, we have 8 public water systems in Quay County. Let me see if I can remember them all. June Carey House, Logan, San Hone, Rad Water Co-op, Hills, and Liberty Village. So 8 of them.
And all of ours are considered public.
All 8 of those are considered public water systems.
Okay. And so that's good to know so that they are testing their water and reporting those things. So we have those systems, and do they all get their water on their own? Do they get them from?
All of the water, drinking water within the county that's public water systems is all groundwater.
All groundwater.
Right.
But part of that water is like in our area, my area, Tucumcari provides water for several of those systems.
Right. They're, in addition to be a public water supplier, they're a wholesale public water supplier as well.
And then we have, as I was thinking about these, you've got the water systems and they all have different, the same reporting requirements. So if, for example, the ones that are around here to get their water from Tucumcari, something happens to Tucumcari's water, they would be required to report to us, to those who are on their systems.
Correct, yes.
So we make sure that everybody is notified. So what kinds of things did we look at as we were identifying disparities? Did you find many disparities?
The main disparity had to do with language barriers, and the federal regulation requires that annual report to be provided multilingual, depending on the language proportion within the county. And within Quake County, 20% of our population speak Spanish.
And approximately, do you know how many percentage of our household are on a public water system? Because, I mean, we do know quite a few people who have wells, and we've talked about that previously.
I do not know that percentage.
I was thinking it was probably around 90, looking at the numbers on the disparity statement.
Okay, that are on public water systems.
A public water system. But I'm not sure. And so what you said, language was our most common disparity. Mm-hmm. And what are some of the ways that people were being notified of these contaminants, especially if it was something minor that wasn't going to be immediate affect their health? How are people notified?
Right. So there are, again, the 2 notifications, the annual report, and then the emergency situations. So I surveyed all of these 8 public water systems to see what they're actually doing in response to these requirements. And for the annual report, a lot of the public water systems just include that report in their water bill, their monthly water bill. However, in just talking with some of the water systems, there are many customers that have signed up for paperless and pay online, so they wouldn't get that insert with their water bills. So there's a lot of different things that public water systems need to consider based on their customers.
Well, for example, my water bill comes on a postcard.
Oh.
So it wouldn't have an insert.
Right.
But what else could they do?
So they generally they post on their website, which is good. They may post it at the post office, publish in the newspaper. There's a lot of different ways that they can do that. But again, it's the water system really needs to know their customers. And it could, some have a very small amount of customers, and it'd be easier to notify them, even if it's door to door. But then larger systems like Tucumcari, they have to consider a lot of different options to make sure that they reach the entire community.
Mm-hmm. So the document that they produce annually is also a pretty big document, but it's available. Where is it available for people to look at if they wanted to go look at their water reports?
For the most part, they're online, but some of the smaller systems, you would have to contact them personally, I would imagine.
Okay. So if there was an emergency, though, there's some ideal ways that we need our water systems to start thinking about ways to notify people in a hurry. For example, we had a community in another county north of us that, due to fires, that the ash got into their water system, and they had to do, I think, no drinks, or don't drink our water for a certain amount of time. So what is the best way for our water systems to start notifying people here in Quake County?
Right, just jump on it immediately. The radio station would be a good means to notify people. And one of the major ways to do that is working with the county emergency manager. And they have two systems that they can use. It's called Nixle and another one called iPods. And I strongly recommend you signing up for Nixle. It's not just water emergency notifications. It could be severe weather, thunderstorms, or tornado watches and things like that. But you can sign up for that through the county's website, Quake County government website, or you can send a text to 888-777 with your zip code, and you could be signed up to receive notifications as well.
And also, I think you put a link on our website.
Correct, yes. So if you go to qchealthcouncil.org, and you can go to click on Quake Projects and then Climate and Health, and you'll see that information is how to sign up as well.
Well, tell us how the iPod system works nationwide, because I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So the emergency manager, once he's notified of a specific area, he can draw on the computer screen that specific area, and it will notify by cell phone anybody within that area, including people just driving through. So that's a really great feature that is very beneficial and people should be aware of.
And I had that happen to me in another state. We were driving through, and I got a tornado warning on my phone, and I was like, wow. So they were hooked into the iPod system. Now, you did say one of our water suppliers has a different notification system?
Yes, I met with the Village of Logan, the village administrator, and they have a really great system that you can sign up as well, and that's on our website as well, how to do that. But they have their own system. You can sign up, and it, in addition to notifying you of any emergencies, it tells you if you have water leaks, how much water you're using. So it's a really great feature.
Well, and water leaks are important not just to save our water supply, which is what we need to do, but also to really cut down on that water bill, because if you have water leaks, it can go up pretty quickly.
This is true.
I'm thinking I'm covering everything, but is there something else that I missed?
Let's see.
I was trying to remember all the things. And we did put your disparity statement.
Right. You can find that on our website as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but with that disparity of the language barriers, 20% of our population in Quake County speaks Spanish only. And I do believe I just mentioned that, but just to reiterate that how important that is to make sure that these public water systems provide that information in Spanish and regionally.
Right. Regional Spanish that sometimes you can translate stuff using the computer, but it's not what is spoken in our community.
Exactly.
And but most of our agencies have somebody that speaks Spanish within their community.
No.
Or within their staffing, they can do that. And so I think that was everything on there. What are you doing to notify the water systems?
Oh, that's right. So I'm meeting with the one city and the 3 village city councils to provide the results of my research. And I've met with one already, and they're very receptive to the recommendations that I have.
Yes. So it's pretty exciting that we might even be able to make this small little change.
Right.
And help people get more
and I always say
timely information.
Prepare for the worst and expect the best.
So we'd like to thank you all for joining us. As we said, if you want to read our statement, it's got some really interesting information in it that's on our website at qchealthcouncil.org, along with links to sign up for Nixle and sign up for the Logan's notification system.
And I'd also like to let you know that Kate Ziegler, she's a geologist with Ziegler Geologic Consulting, and she is going to give an overview of groundwater monitoring projects going on in the region with neighboring state soil water conservation districts, and we'll be visiting with Canadian River Soil Water Conservation District tentatively on September 15th at 7 p.m., and that location is yet to be determined. And this information can help producers and communities understand what's happening with their aquifers.
Well, and knowing that what's happening with your aquifer is very important for them when it comes to planting their crops or having enough water to raise their livestock. And many of those people are also on well water. And as our aquifer gets depleted, more and more contaminants get in that water. We did hear some interesting things about our aquifer from Kate. In June, we had a podcast with Kate Ziegler. So be sure to go check that out and hear about that. And we will be letting people know about this meeting once everything gets finalized. September seems like a long ways off, but it's not. And it will be on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our website. And so be sure to come to this meeting. It'll be interesting. She is very interesting to listen to. And thank you for joining us today. And come back next time as we have another important topic for your health.
Special thanks to our guest, Billy Billingsley, Quay County Health Council Climate and Health Coordinator, and our host, Brenda Bishop, Quay County Health Council Coordinator.
Podcast crew, Director, Robert F. Hockaday. Producers, Robert F. Hockaday, Joyce Runyon. Camera Operator, Robert F. Hockaday. Second Assistant Operator, Joyce Runyon. Editor, Joyce Runyon. Music provided by David Morris. Funding for this podcast is provided by New Mexico Legislative Appropriation from Representative Jack Jackson. Brought to you by Quay County Health News. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Quay County Health. If you have content ideas, reach out to us at healthiqpodcast@gmail.com.
This podcast was created solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for advice from a healthcare or mental health professional.